Hey everyone. Hopefully we are live, and I don't know if you guys see me. If not, happy new year. It should be coming in. I'm looking on my channels just to make sure you guys are all in. Okay, so we are live on Facebook, and we also are live on YouTube. I hope you guys are having a prosperous new year. To start off, as usual, we're going to do our credit off for everyone. And so, with our credit kickoff, we're focusing on our credit, especially want to have their goals accomplished. And so, you want to prepare to have the best 2024, especially if 2023 wasn't your financial best year and you ready to move forward to increase your credit score and just increase your overall life, because let's face it, credit isn't everything. Even to certain employment, you have to have a really good credit score, especially if you're in the financial industry. So what we're going to do with this credit kickoff is, over the next 45 days, help you increase your credit score. And we're going to cover some topics to help you take actionable steps. So, number one, what you, you guys can, the tools you're going to need, especially tonight, we're going to talk about collections, to remove collections and negative items. We have my package that you can use the forms there, especially on collections. You're going to need what's called a debt validation letter, because when it comes with collections, if you have one on your credit report, or if you receive any new notices from a collection company, you need to send a debt validation letter. Because if you don't send that debt validation letter, you guys, they can hit your credit report. So you want to make sure, if you receive a letter from a collection company, it's very important that you respond within that 30 days with that debt validation letter, because if they cannot prove they have a legal right to collect on that debt, then they can't put that on your credit report. So we have a coupon code for you guys for the package, and it's credit kickoff. This is going to be a bigger discount than the coupon code we currently have on the website. This is just for you guys that's joining this credit kickoff. So this is going to help. Now, depending on what kind of collections you have on your credit report, there's consumer collections and there's medical collections. Now, when it comes down to your credit, always remember, your credit is based on 5 factors that make up your credit score. And that is payment history, which is the biggest factor, 35%. Utilization is the second biggest factor. That makes up 30%. Then you have age of credit, which is 15%. Then you have inquiries, which mean new inquiries. That's 10%. So when you're applying for credit, and then 10% is mix of credit. So when we're talking about mix of credit, they like to see that you can handle a various type of credit accounts, like mortgages, which is installment, um, real estate accounts, car loans, credit cards. So they want to see a nice credit mix. So all of this makes up your credit score. But the reason why we're starting with collections tonight, because I want you guys, if you have collections, you want to start now over this 45-day period of sending out that debt validation letter because they have 30 days to respond. So we want to start there because collections will affect that payment history. Okay. So we want to help increase your credit score if we can remove your collections. Okay. Now, a collection will generally cost you about 35. It could cost you about, depending on how low your credit score is. So, depending on where your credit score is. So, if your credit score is lower, it might cost about 15 to 25 points. But if you are up in the 700 credit score, once that collection hit your credit report, you can see like 30 points come, or even sometimes better, drop off of your credit report. So the higher your score go, anything negative that comes on, the bigger the impact that you're going to see. So thank you everyone for joining us. Abraham, K, I see you in here. Lily D, I'm just calling out some names. I see Shannon, you join me. Thank you for joining me. Vicky Williams, all you that join, Marcus, thank you for coming in. So when you're dealing now with medical collections, you guys, if you guys have medical collections, now they have really passed, it's not a law, but they have given courtesy, which is the credit bureaus have given courtesy to the to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to remove any collections reporting on your credit report that's under $500. It should not be showing any medical collections on your credit report. Okay. So for a year, actually, medical collections should be scratch that. What they did, if you pay those, I'm sorry, if you pay any collection that's under $500, it can be removed off of your credit report. If you got that collection and they have to give you a year before they pay that, before it shows up on your credit report. So that's of any size. If it's $500 or above, they have to have a whole year before they can put that on your credit report. So if you went to the hospital and say that bill got missed, what you want to make sure, if you have a collection showing up on your credit report, go and get that medical bill, the original medical bill from the hospital. Go and look for that letter or request that, because they should not put that on your credit report, even if it's beyond that $500 whatever mark. Those medical collections should not be able to be put on your credit report for a whole year. Okay. So that is what have recently passed in the summer of last year. Also, if you pay a medical collection that's under $500, it should be removed from your credit report. Now, prior to, they would keep that as a paid collection. Now, that does not apply to consumer. So if you had a credit card that was a credit card, let's say from, First Premier, a lot of people, if we build in credit, we might have dealt with companies like that. And say forfeited on your credit card bill, and then it got turned over to a collection with consumer collections like that. If you pay those, you guys, that's going to stay on your credit report, and it's going to update as a paid collection. And what happens is when you do that, when you pay a consumer collection, it starts that time for that to stay on your credit report longer. That 7-year window restarts. So you don't want to pay, especially consumer, okay? Consumer collections. You want to make sure you understand that rule does not apply to those. Only medical under $500, okay? So make sure you guys don't pay those, okay? Don't pay those because that will stay and you'll see your score go down because they'll update as a new negative item, okay? So a negative item that stay on your credit report, as long as it's not dinging you every month, your score starts to go up. And also, if it's set for 2 years, you have 7 years that a negative or any reporting should stay on your credit report outside of, certain things like uh, bankruptcy. Okay. That can stay 10 years. But anything in student loans collections, you guys do not fall in this category because a lot of people are going to ask that. Student loans, that can stay, you guys. That's a whole nother category of collections. You have to pay those. Okay. That's with Congress. They got you guys trapped into that. So outside of those student loans, and outside of bankruptcy, that's going to stay on your credit report even if it's a collection until with bankruptcy, chapter 7 stays on for 10 years. Okay. Student loan collections, if it's not paid, unfortunately it's not going to go away. Okay. So those are a different category, but when we're talking about credit cards, even what you might have a collection from a repossession, collection from Verizon, telephone bill, things like that on the consumer side, even a utility bill that can only report for 7 years and then it has to come off. All right. Late payments only for 7 years. But when it comes to medical collections, you can pay those if it's under that $500 mark and they will remove them off of your credit report. Now, do understand when it comes down to collections, even with medical collections, I don't tell you guys to pay them from the door. When it comes down to medical collections, review and get the original hospital bill that was created because number one, your insurance might have covered that. Okay. So if you have a medical collection, make sure that you check with your insurance to make sure they did not pay because that happens a lot. Understand that some of these companies are borderline illegal and they're illegal. So there are a number of these collection companies that are banned. So if you have any type of collection, make sure you review. I'm going to actually put that link for you guys to make sure that it's not a banned collection companies because there are a number of banned collection companies on the FTC list. So if you have a collection, first make sure they're not banned collection companies because there are over 100 that are banned. And make sure if you have a medical bill collection, make sure your insurance company did not pay them. Also, make sure with utility bills that those utility bills, a lot of times they'll just send that to a collection company and you have paid those bills. So this is why you definitely want to send a debt validation letter. So with my debt validation letters, it's going to cover also if a company is banned, because you want to make sure that they are legal as working as a collection company. They have to have license many times. In some states, they're required to be bonded. So you want to demand that proof from them also. So banned. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna FTC list of banned collections. I'm going to drop that. So if you guys have collections, make sure, let me drop this for you guys. Review this list and make sure that company is not one of these banned companies, because they will sneak in. And here's the link for you guys. Check with the FTC on those banned companies to make sure they're not reporting. If they're reporting on your credit report, report them to the FTC and go to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and you can put it in a complaint. And somebody said portfolio recovery is the big one. They just got sued for over, and actually fined, so over $24 million. LVNV, they're definitely awful. Midland, another big one. And these companies been around for years. So when it came down to portfolio, as someone just put, they were lying, saying that people owed debts that was time barred. So they couldn't even collect on those collections anymore. And they was saying when people sent their debt validation letters that they were going to send proof. They never sent proof. They also was taking people to court over and filing lawsuits over collections they didn't even have a legal right to collect on. So it is very important when you send your debt validation letters, make sure you guys, you send it certified mail every time. You don't have to sign them. Do not ever sign anything with a collection company. The reason why a lot of these companies, just like Portfolio Recovery, are the bottom of the basement, uh, unreputable. Okay. They don't have a good reputation, and they are not above taking your signature and putting it on a contract, copying your signature and imposing it on a contract. So don't sign those letters, put your signature on anything for those companies. Another thing, when they ask, well, we don't have record of you, we don't know of you, it's not up to you to prove to them who you are. That's their business, because they should never start collecting on me if you don't know who I am. Okay. So make sure you don't put any account number. That's not your business. Okay. That is not your business to put any account number and do their work. If you're saying I owe you, you should know who I am. So one thing you need to know about these third-party collectors, they have to have a legal right to collect on that debt. So say with credit card companies, a lot of times when you have a credit card or any relationship with the original creditor, you have to give them right to sell that debt. Now, if you have a repo, things like that, sometimes you sign a contract. So you may have given out a legal right to sell that debt, but when it comes down to credit cards, things like that. Nobody signs that contract barely and send it back. Even when you apply for this, many people are doing it online. So you never gave a legal right for them to sell that debt. So when that company come in, and a lot of times when you send them a debt validation letter, they'll send you back a bill from that company. That does not prove their right to collect on that debt. Oh, so let's put it like this. All of us, if you have an apartment or a home, have a light bill. I just can't show up to your door holding my light bill, your light bill, and demanding that you pay me. Oh, pay me your light bill. It's $500. You're going to call me crazy. I don't know you. I never received service, and you're not my light bill company. So because a debt is owed, it doesn't mean any Joe Smo can collect on a debt. Even if I owe Verizon, it doesn't mean I owe you. Because I owe Capital One, where is it that I owe you? I owe Capital One, but I don't owe you. So what happens is, with these companies, the original creditor, when they charge it off or write it off, many a times that's for their accounting purposes and IRS purposes. So when they write that off, they'll get a credit, a tax credit on that. So they can't personally collect anymore. And so the way they make more money, because if you owed them $2,000, let's say on that credit card, then they write it off. The IRS credit them that $2,000, saying, well, since, let's use me, Sherry didn't pay you $2,000, then that's a loss to you. You don't have to pay your tax obligations on that. Then if they turn around that original creditor and collect from me that $2,000, they really then had an enrichment of $4,000. So the way they try not to avoid themselves getting in trouble with the IRS, they gather all of their losses and accounts that's not paid and create a portfolio. This is why you have names like portfolio recovery, those things, because they'll buy a whole book from these companies of these defaulted debts. And so they're getting paid and they're getting a tax credit. So the original creditor is making more money. All right. They're not taking a loss. Then they sell it to them with pennies on a dollar. And many a times they don't really have an evidence of all these contracts, okay? Because they're just buying those screenshots as proof. Or when you send them that debt validation letter, they'll contact that company and they'll send them over a bill. But that bill doesn't prove that they have a legal right to collect on that debt. They need that original contract. So you want to demand that. Also, when it comes down to with rents, a lot of people might have a collection from back rent. That landlord, if they wrote that off, or that property management company, you want to demand. In my packages, I have a letter for that, for those kind of eviction collections. You want to demand, what about the security deposit? You want proof that, where do you have a right to collect on that debt? Where was my security deposit applied? So they have to give you some accounting on that. So you want to press those things. Where's the original lease? Did you, in that lease, give that landlord a right to sell that debt? So you want to push for these things, because if they cannot prove that, then you even have an avenue. If they put it on your credit report, you could possibly sue for defamation, because that's detrimental to you. That is damage to your credit report. So just always send these letters certified mail so you can keep a record if you need to talk to an attorney to take action. Okay. So make sure. Now, one of the other things I always suggest you guys when you're writing these letters, go to the Better Business Bureau website. So someone said portfolio recovery, for example. Let's say you have a collection with them or LVNV. Google LVNV, Better Business Bureau. Generally, it'll pull up their profile. Make sure when you go there, you look for the board members, president, vice president, treasurer. They'll have their names up there. Add their names on those letters. You can also go to LinkedIn. I always say grab one customer service rep if you need to. You want to make sure when you're writing those letters, add those names on there, excuse me. And the reason why, because if you need to take legal action, you can show that you had people that you reached out to and they can be liable. Okay. Because when you have um, presidents, vice president, board members, they're making business decisions for the company. So you can hold them responsible. So if you need to file a lawsuit, they can be added on that lawsuit. So you want to make sure you're adding their names on that list, okay, on that letter. So make sure you include that. It's very easy to Google up that collection company and then just say LVNV, Better Business Bureau. And usually it'll pull up that profile so you can get some of those names. So you want to make sure you do that. Second part, you guys, do not talk to these companies over the phone. Be careful. They're recorded line, okay? And there's a reason why they want to make sure, is this so and so and so? Give me your date of birth and this. Number one, you shouldn't vet anything like that out. It's too many scams going on anyway. So why would I give anybody my date of birth? You can pull up anything now on the internet, just Googling somebody's name. So I wouldn't suggest ever when somebody is calling you like that, ever. No, what you tell them, I'll be glad to talk to you, but not on a recorded line. And they'll tell you they cannot do that and hang up. And the reason why they do that is they know they don't have these proofs. And so what they're trying to do is get you on the phone to bind a verbal agreement. So when they call you and say, "Hey, we're collecting for Discover. You have a Discover bill. And if you will pay us, we'll settle with you right now if you want to make some payments of $50 a month to pay this bill." As soon as you say, "Okay, I can pay $50, they got you. You agreed to do business with them and they recorded you on a recorded line. Now, the reason why you don't want to do that, because number one, what portfolio recovery was doing this, these things could be past the statute of limitations or a time barred debt. By you agreeing to pay some of these debts over the phone, you can open yourself up to be sued now, because now you're reactivating the statute of limitations. So you don't want to talk to these people over the phone. They are aware that they have a weak case, and this is why they record these lines. So then once they record you, now they have proof. So it's like they got you. Okay. So Don't talk to these people over the phone. If they call you, I'll be glad to talk to you, but not on a record. Call me back, not on a recorded line. Or I'll talk to you, not on a recorded line. Because they'll tell you straight up, oh, this conversation is being recorded. Tell them I'll talk to you, but not on a recorded line. They'll hang up immediately. So this is how you know that is true, because they want to make sure they catch you in a catch 22. And so when you do that over the phone and agree to pay them, it's just like a marriage. You stand and do a verbal agreement. I do, to hold, and it takes a whole legal procedure, which is called a divorce, to get you out of, because it's a verbal contract. And that's what they're trying to get you under, a verbal contract. So you want to make sure in this time period, you want to send out those debt validation letters. Do not talk to these people on, on a recorded line. So tonight I want to do something different to get you guys to come up. We're going to, if anybody has some questions, I'm going to drop, give me a second. We're going to drop the link for you guys. So if someone having an issue, you guys can come up and ask your questions. And I'm going to read some of your questions coming in. I thank everybody for coming in. Let me see if I can see some questions. Somebody said, how do I get the letters? I have the link right here in the chat, you guys. So if you need those letters, it's dropped right there for you. So you can click there, but use our code, okay? And you'll get a larger discount just for joining here. I just want to go through. If you guys have a question, if you need help from me, you can come up. Deetra Equifax did that to me. Okay, okay, she was talking to somebody. If you guys have questions, do me a favor, because it's a lot of questions. Do me a favor, start to drop it now so I can see your questions. Okay, I see Shannon said we had a second mortgage and the credit union charged it off, and they started, and we called them. Oh, okay. And we called them and verbally got a payment agreement and dismissed. Can they retaliate with foreclosure? If they should have sent you something in writing. Have they, Shannon, what's the status now? Because with your second mortgage, how many months were you behind? How many payments did you miss? And they should have sent you a modification of some sort. If you're coming up, Sam, do me a favor, because we don't want no P-bombing. Can you show yourself, please? So you don't have to come up on the screen, but just in the background so I can see you, to let you up on the stage if you can. Because there's sometimes, so I forgot to include that. You guys, make sure on the background, if you come up, just let me see you really quickly. So I can let you guys up, because it's some things that go on where people prank, and it was a lot of people getting these incidents on YouTube of people showing their private parts to get people lives shut down. So we don't want that going on. Sam, if you can, and let me see
if you question.
Could I could private chat in the back. Sure.
Okay, it's me, Mom. Would it help if
Hello?
I just add the questions on the screen and you can read them off?
Well, if you can, I can go back to YouTube. Somebody, hold on, my computer doesn't have a camera. I thought I can comment but I have, oh, okay. Um, all right. I'm gonna try to bring you up. Okay. I can see Sam. I'm gonna we're gonna go by faith. I see. Oh, wait, you can come back. All right. Gwen, can you pop up? Yes, Diamond, if you can highlight some of these questions. Okay. Show. Oh, wait, Glenn. Hold on. Hold on, Gwen. Okay. All right. Can you hear? Okay. I can see you.
Can you hear
All
me?
right. Let me come on in. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Gwen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. What's your question, Gwen?
Okay, so I managed to, with some of your advice that
What's your
you've given
question?
me.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. With some of the
Yes,
advice
I
that
can hear you.
with some of the advice that you've given, I've managed to do a lot with my credit, and I
Uh-huh.
only have one collections left on my credit. So I appreciate you for giving this information.
Okay.
Um, um, I the la the
Yes, wonderful.
there's a collection that I have left, and that is they put my daughter's car
Okay.
accident on my credit, and they will not remove it. And that's what's it's like
Oh, wow.
$1,200 left. It was not my accident, it was my daughter's, but it's not on hers, it's on mine. And I sent a validation letter. I'd never heard from them.
Okay. Um, you don't have, okay, give me a sec. It's a lag. Try giving some space. Oh, okay. Okay, got you. I'm sorry, somebody was talking. Now, I'm going to give you some space to talk because it's creating a lag. I'm sorry. Now, with your
Okay.
daughter, right? Were you on her car?
What was I what?
Were you on her car note? On her car note as a cosigner?
No, I bought her car.
Oh, so it was totally in your name, the car.
Well, the car was in my name, but the insurance, she was on my insurance.
Hold on. Who's so it's an insurance or is it
Yes,
insurance collection or is it for the car itself, a repo?
it's for insurance.
It's for the insurance or the car note?
Yeah, it's for the insurance, Progressive.
Okay, it's for Progressive Insurance. Well, you just send the collection company a debt validation letter.
I did, and they didn't respond.
Then dispute it now with the credit bureaus and
Okay.
let them know they didn't respond.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
what you because and you got proof. You sent it certified, right?
Yes, I
You
sent
sent it
everything
certified.
that I've
Okay,
been sending.
you let. I'll just certify. Okay, so dispute with the credit bureaus that, and if they don't remove it, then you can file your complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau
Okay.
because you got proof. So you'll just upload your complaint if the bureau if they don't remove it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think uh okay, I'm gonna bring Miss Johnson to the stage. Miss Johnson, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself? Can you hear me?
Good. What issue are you having?
Okay, my
Yes, I can
issue
hear you.
is okay, my credit score, it gets up into the 750s, and when it gets there, it drops, and it drops double digits. Whether I've used it in a couple of months, it's not overutilization, but it's dropped as much as 60 points one time. Last month, it dropped to 14 points. So I don't know what to do, and I don't know why. And I've called for the 60, but I couldn't get anywhere. But it drops anytime it gets into the 750s. It just drops. So it's like they don't want to get me to the 800s. It drops double digits, and I don't know what to do.
Now, is it all credit bureaus or just one particular?
I think it's mostly TransUnion. I didn't even check Equifax this time. I was just disgusted. So I'm not sure this time if it was both, but I think it was both. Previously, it's been both. So I don't know what to do because it's not overutilization. It's been totally like because I don't go over, and it hasn't been used like since maybe November. Haven't used them and just paying them down, and it suddenly drops. You froze.
Well, if it's suddenly dropping, you need to get your credit monitoring. You can use Experian. They're pretty good, and pull them, and it should give you an alert to tell you why your score dropped, because we need to see what reason why. Because what it could be, I did have that fluke last maybe a month or two, 40 points. And it said my mortgage closed, and my mortgage did not close. And then it went back up. So I had that issue with Equifax, but we need to find out what's the reason. If you're saying usually that's utilization, that would make, if you don't pay your card by the due date, pull all 3 credit reports, go through Experian, and then just use Experian, and it'll give you the alert, and with their side update.
You're breaking up a lot. You say use Experian, and they'll
So
do.
that's the thing I can say. But
Okay.
They give you they'll tell you why.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because it's every
Experian,
time.
But unless I can see, I can't have the answer.
Okay. All right. And it only happens when it gets into 750. It gets to 755, bam, it drops.
Okay.
Every time it gets into 750, so it's moving toward 8, it never makes it past that 755 or 56, and it drops.
Well, generally with your credit reports, each credit report don't have the same flat score. So one credit report is going to be higher, and one is going to be mid. So they're not all going to be 750. So that's why I say you need to pull all 3.
Okay. All right. I'll work on that.
All 3. So we can get accurate numbers, and then you'll get an alert. But yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more because I need more information. But if you do that, maybe tomorrow. All right. Well, all right, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming up. We're going to close out, but I'm going to actually answer some of the questions that came up. Yes, if you highlight them for me, Diamond, we already answered this one with the second mortgage with Sharon. It said it was dismissed. Give me 1 second. Okay, I believe she said I had a car accident and the insurance sent the payment to clear the car debt, but I was upside down and they are still nicking me. Oh, okay. So you have a balance on that car payment. So if you can, Tara, as a charge off or collection, and is the actual company, even after you need to dispute that. You need to dispute that And if that's not removed from hitting you late every month, once you dispute, I will do about 2 rounds. Then I will file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And if you settled, use that paperwork too. When you dispute with the credit bureaus, show them that this was settled. So they should have sent you some paperwork for that. That's how you would do that, and the payment that was in writing. I see someone else said 7 years bankruptcy, but a lot of people of color. Okay, that's somebody else's question. If you have 15 hard inquiries, how do you get them off from an auto loan? What you want to do, depending on the bureau, what you want to do is send a debt with that. You want to send with when they do that, they shotgun your credit when it comes down to hard inquiries. You want to send the companies that access your credit report, because they are supposed to give permissible purpose to pull your credit. And usually what happens with those car companies, or when you go to the dealership, they just shut it across the board without even asking you. So what you want to do, I have a free hard inquiry removal package. You can pick that up and download it at my website and send that letter and tell them they have to remove it. But you're going to send that directly to the companies themselves. They have to show you proof that you gave them a right to pull your credit, which you didn't. I see one more person coming up to the stage. Give me 1 second. Hi, how are you? Mr. Reese, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello? Mr. Reese, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear
Hello.
you.
Yes,
I
I
can hear
got a
you, Mr.
question on.
Reese.
I'm doing fine. How
Yes,
you
I can
doing?
hear you.
How can I join your website and just get like
Good.
one-on-one practice with everything I need to do to help my credit?
Okay. I would love to have you. We're going to drop the link for you right here, and you can click the link and come on into the group immediately. And I have some steps for you to take. Action as soon as you get that email when you sign up. Make sure you take those steps. I have some videos right there in my elite credit system. Watch it. They're only 5 minutes, and you're going to do those immediate steps, and we'll be doing the coaching. So once you do that, once you import, it's going to show you all your negatives. So me and you'll be able to work on those things that you have. So the system will pick up everything, and I'll know what issues you're dealing with.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I look to working with you. All right.
Okay, thank
Enjoy
you.
your night.
Good night.
Well, thank you everyone for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. Diamond, can you drop the link from Mr. Reese, please, for the elite credit system? And we're gonna do it next week. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna talk next week on how to increase your credit score by 100 points, possibly within days, and how to actually start to strategize, you guys, on focusing on using utilization to skyrocket your credit report. Okay. Utilization is going to be your key factor to raise your credit score really quickly. But I want to make sure you guys are attacking these collections, because they're really, it takes 30 days at least to give these companies to reply to your inquiries. Okay. When it comes down to that, I'm getting this link. When it comes down to debt validation. They do get 30 days. So you do have to have that time frame where you're allowing them in that 30-day period. If anybody else want help, here's the link to my elite credit system. This is where I'm doing the coaching. If y'all need my help personally, and it'll be ongoing help with your credit issues. So I'll see you guys for the kickoff next week. We'll be here at the same time, and make sure you guys have your pen and paper, because we're going to go really deep on this utilization. I need you guys to lock in on that, because it's going to be important, because utilization can change on you every single week. Okay, it's definitely month to month, but depending on how many credit cards you have, it can change on you every week. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next week.